Very cool. So I started a money broker in 2017. So a lot of it was helping my clients, and so it kind of evolved into trying to do a fund. We were doing a building in Denver that got kind of canceled because of COVID, but this has been an evolution. And obviously getting the AI. So I've pumped in probably 12,000 pages of materials, not like page by page. A lot of them are books and stuff. 50-page PDFs and stuff like that, workbooks, a lot of stuff. And we have 11 databases and 19,000 like lenders, funding sources. These are contacts, not like total firms, but like hedge funds, family offices, and all that. So it's powered up. Just to let you know on that. So I'm going to quickly share a screen, and I do have a little glitch I have to tell you. I'm not seeing it 100,000 times, but if I get ahead of myself and you don't see the screen doesn't look like the screen that I'm talking about is on the screen, when I'm sharing a screen, just let me know so I can make adjustments so that way you can see the right screen. So, like I said, we're a real estate capital intelligence community, and like I said, it evolved. So we have RCIC CORE, which is built in one of the GPTs, and you can see it on my sidebar. I'll actually show it to you to everybody, RCIC CORE and where that works and all that. But then we also have RCICsystems.com. That's the one you see me probably post the most about right now. So that one it's online. It's RCI, you can go to RCICsystems.com, but if you want to see the back end, I'll pull up the dashboard and show everybody what it looks like on this presentation. It's pretty incredible what it is. I'm also finishing the standalone for skip tracing, which I was posting about. I'm doing a standalone as well for Signal, which means all the texting, messaging, correspondence to be all compliant with what the government requires. And then I'm also doing Doc on Demand, which will have 250 readily available documents, contracts, LOIs, things for people to actually download that they need every day in real estate no one's looking for. So that'll all be live by the end of the month. And then when we go live at the end of the month, it's live now. Everybody that's not on, that's not on board by that, the pricing that's on RCICsystems.com will apply. So if people want lifetime, it's going to be $3,500, or they get light for 100, or they get the monthly, the pro plan for $399. So anybody can go and see what those look like now. But until I get the Signal and Doc on Demand and all that built, we'll be able to offer the lifetime for the $399. So it's good. So everybody's all in at one time. And I explained it that everybody then gets, whenever somebody's on a lifetime plan with us, they get anything we build for, the rest of, whenever we build something, they get it. It's really kind of like being like, kind of like the guinea pigs of the beta, but everything we build is first class. And people can do this, like I said, if you're involved in wholesaling, flipping, lending, mobile homes, RV parks, glamping, which glamping is kind of cool, actually, residential assisted living, self-storage, land development, short-term, mid-term rentals, multifamily, co-living, it's everything, and lending and all that stuff. And we have all the everything, all the systems for it, all the analyzers and calculators. So we look at it the two different ways. The GPTs here with RCIC Core, there's another 6 GPTs. People can build onto it their way. And we have a kind of a process where people build their buy box and their markets. We went over that last night, so it's actually a little bit in the video from last night. I won't go too much in deep on it tonight, but it's kind of cool. So we'll talk about like RCIC systems, workflows, prompts, operator intelligence. It's awesome. So, you can rank your comps, do market reality assessment, which I developed as a tool. It's kind of cool. It allows you to look at a deal 4 ways at 4 different geographic areas at the property, the immediate streets around the property. Then you go out a little bit wider to like major arteries, and then you do the whole zip code. And it kind of is like when a real estate agent does a competitive market analysis. So not only looks at the property, it looks at comps, it looks at what's going on in that market real estate wise. It also looks at like what's there for hospital, what's there for schools, what's there for shopping, what's there for employment, walkability, parks and rec. So it kind of takes a whole market reality of what's going on there, which helps in the ARV. So like I said, we have street level risk analysis. It'll help you determine and pressure test your ARV. All this happens sometimes in minutes. We had one operator, one of our people in Savannah, Georgia, he generated 1,000 foreclosure leads. He followed him, he built his projects. We recommend everybody puts 12 projects, and it starts with buy box, markets, deal analysis tools. It ends up all the way at Capital Passport, which is doing all the lender matching and all the funding and transaction coordination. He took 1,000 generated, and in 12 minutes, he took it through pulling comps, market reality assessment, skip tracing, determining ARV, and all that. He got it down to 10 out of 1,000 in 12 minutes using this. And then he basically went to manually tried to compare it to manual underwriting, and he believes he was within 97% accuracy, which is good. That was him giving feedback to me. I have not got, the only complaints I've got are like the little tweaks we do. Like on RCIC systems, we put in a toggle so people could switch between a light display and a dark display. Like I like dark displays. But so little minor things are awesome. Otherwise, it's pretty cool.
If you want to make a long story short, what this thing does is it takes the entire real estate industry and it condenses it down in light speed.
Yeah.
And things that used to take weeks and months take seconds or less. So if you know what you're doing, I don't mean about the actual program itself or RCIC itself, but if you know what you're doing about your approach to real estate, okay, you can go ahead and program this accordingly to support your approach. Or you could get its opinion as to whether or not you can improve on your approach. Okay. So when you're setting this thing up, if you take the time to be able to make those assessments, put all your stuff in there, and then ask it, what do you think? It'll give you an absolute opinion. You could tweak this thing for a week or two, but after about 30 to 45 days, this thing's in sweet mode and it's humming like a well-oiled machine. And you just need to know how many deals that you want to put down, pull down a month, and how big you want them to be. Don't be afraid to get the biggest of the biggest, because this thing can handle it. Okay. It'll tell you whether you can pull something down or not based on what you've got. Okay. So in essence, that's what this thing does, and how well it works is up to you. But, we got support here, and we're trying to get everybody on the same page and the same even keel as we're going through this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, so we got the deal analysis. We have a guide now for pulling comps. So just to let you guys know, so James and Kevin and all that, you guys, I did actually separate that 12 chains into 3 separate guides now, and they're in both Facebook groups. One is to pull guides, another one's to do MRA, another one's to do ARV. And then we do have the color that when it says color to foreclosure operator guidance system, that is actually what we're working on with Ginger last night, Kevin. So anybody can now take that, and actually we made a little guide with a PDF. People can change this to like Tarrant County, Texas. You can change it. It doesn't have to be Colorado. I'll show, just so you know, on Sharif, I'll show you exactly what it actually looks like. What I get these reports. You probably saw me post a few of them. I get 15 a week, and it basically is pretty detailed. It gives me a lot of stuff. I get some national ones. I get actionable opportunities. I get them for Colorado, for my own markets, because I monitor everything from Casper, Wyoming down to Pueblo, Colorado, just as ongoing, because I can test, I can drive by, I can look at stuff to make sure everything's dialed in. But people can generate these reports, and you can have them send to your email. And what we also recommend, some people use Go High Level and all that, but we actually recommend people setting up a free Gmail account. And as much as that says, if you look at, if you're not familiar with GPT on the apps, you can actually go and if you get the login and the password for a Gmail account, just set up one for this. You can come back and hit that apps on the sidebar, and it'll connect you to Gmail. You can have all the reports. I'll show you the report, what I get. I'll show you one of them that comes up, and I get 15 of them a week, and they have what we call off ramps. So everybody wants to look at this like a highway. The RCIC is an interstate highway. Pick any interstate highway. Instead of the off ramps being hotels, gas stations, and the world's largest ball of string, you basically have the AHJs, the counties, which are, the public trustees, the sheriff, the probate courts. That's the first stop. Your second stops are going to be your deal analysis tools. It's going to be your skip tracing. It's going to be a one stop. Your ARV and all that. Then your rehab scope of work, capital passport. So think about you're working your way down the highway, and every stop, and you got to make every stop to go down the highway. That's a way to teach it. So we teach it like off ramps. An off ramp is one of these links that I'll show you. And basically you go to the link and you can go right to the exact location where notice of election demands, notice of default, any kind of the paperwork at the AHJ. A lot of people, and I think in those groups that I think I met you in, Sharif, I think a lot of people are talking about skip tracing. I'm saying zero spend because we have three different ways to attack skip tracing. But one of the key things is that these AHJs, these counties have a lot of that information that prop tech companies like Deal Machine and PropStream and all that don't tell you. A lot of them are buying from aggregators and they're reselling that data, but a lot of them want to have a second subscription, even if they're doing a free skip tracing comes along with it. A lot of the information is at the county because they have county tax assessors, but they also have to have process serving. In order to what we attack is we do have through RCIC systems, we can go after pre-foreclosures and mortgage rates. It'll scrape. GPT is great because we can go to the public, get the public data, and they will have that data at like the tax assessor. But like I said, process serving because they have to mail it. It has to be you have to get a signature. It comes certified mail a lot of times, so you get the signatures. At least that address is good, or the sheriff or a process server has served it. We've been very successful at getting that kind of information. It's also like in building permits. So in the same county, when you go to Jefferson County, Colorado, you can hit you can hit the public trustee or the probate court. You can hit the building inspector, and you can hit the tax assessor and get a lot of that information you want. Our new standalone will actually goes a lot further. It's built with Anthropic's Claude using Netlify and GitHub, and it can actually scrape. Like GPT won't let you do. You mentioned scraping, and your computer might start smoking. OpenAI does not like that term. Anthropic's like just dig all the way to China. We don't care. So we have different ways of attacking it, and that's what's awesome about it. So guys, you can go, and this works in any state, any county, any zip code, judicial versus non-judicial, local trustee services. So what we can say, and we have, I put in 12,000 pages, like I said, of real estate intelligence and operational systems, all kinds of workbooks. When I open Kevin, you can tell them when I open my documents, it's like never ending. 19,000 lending and funding contacts. We have 11 databases. 1,383 lenders are in the curated database that you get to access immediately in Capital Passport. 903 additional one are uncurated. The rest of them are like family offices and stuff. They don't do real estate, but we have a strategy for everybody to use them to actually be able to connect with more people. It's just a different strategy of how to approach them. It uses LinkedIn's Sales Navigator account. Outside of RCIC, the only thing you would ever have to do is OpenAI $20 a month, Anthropic $20 a month, maybe $50 a month to you don't have to do it for a month, but you load it in to get your API tokens with Anthropic. Maybe possibly sells in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. That's completely optional. That's if you're using that strategy. If you're not using that strategy, it doesn't apply. But we get the deal analysis systems, capital matching infrastructures there. The buyer networks are there. We got about 200 people. They're doing all kinds. They're doing everything. Everybody in our group is doing everything across the board. So at any one time, you could be on a Zoom, or you could have a connection with anybody doing anything. There's potential people to do business with. We got the transaction coordination workflows, off-market sourcing tools. So like I said, I started as a private money broker, 263 deals, 2017 and 18. So it's not like a lot of these people that are just popping up out of nowhere and they're building, hey, I built this. This has been something that we've been, Matt's been in our group for 6 years, and some of our people in our group have been around 5 or 6 years as well. So it's not like something we didn't just come out of nowhere like a lot of these people are right now. So we get into, I'm going to do predictive intelligence and combining intelligence, and then I'm going to show the RCIC core, and then I will show you guys that basically that one of the messages, and we'll actually come back and we'll throw a property in. I'll show you guys real property. We're only going to go till like 6 tonight because we went a little bit long last night on Wednesday. Also, Sharif and anybody because some people will listen on this video. I also do 1 hour. I will do 2 to 3 1 hour one-on-ones after people onboard to help them get theirs set up, and then a week later to help them, whatever apps that we have that they need, we can adapt the app and build it around them. So you have a working, like right now with people in Texas. I've got a Texas app that helps with Harris County, Tarrant County, Dallas County. It's basically designed to get around. You guys see all the we solve the problems that a lot of people are out there talking about, and a lot of people are like, "Hey, how do you do this?" And you got like 100 gurus or people on that Facebook post saying, "Do this, do this, do that." Well, we built the apps to actually do that, and once people are in our system, I go to work to. It's like a lab. We go to work and solve that problem to make sure that you have everything you need to succeed. So there's predictive intelligence. So most investors are reacting to information after the market already priced it in. So predictive intelligence is about identifying signals before the broader market reacts. So it means we're detecting pressure before distress becomes public. You guys will see that in those reports that I've published on my own, on my Facebook profile page. I posted one today, and you guys can see it. It'll actually tell you by county what's going on in El Paso County, what's going on in Arapahoe County. You get those same reports. We give you the prompt and the guide to set those up. It's going to tell you what's going on in just various zip codes. It'll give you a heat map of what zip codes are in your markets. So start thinking quality over quantity. Why do you want to do 10,000 records a month at 2 cents a record for skip tracing? When you can go in and you get these properties, you've got the mortgage company's information, and they got their attorney's information. So when you're skip tracing, when you decide you like this property, if you can't make a deal with the seller or the potential seller, you got their lender and you got the lender's lawyer to make a deal with, and you generally will have about 3 months. Today, 6 of my 12 counties that I monitor in Colorado released their foreclosure list this morning for the last week, and literally I will probably see every week. I'll probably see somewhere around 200 to 300 good cases, and it actually ranks them, and it gives me the little clip. It gives me an idea what the equity is, what's available. It's awesome. It gives you exit strategies. It actually walks you through the process. It's pretty cool. I'll actually show that at the end of this session. So it identifies liquidity shifts before price drops. It reads all the behavioral patterns, not just spreadsheets. It tells you what's going on in this county or this zip code and possibly why. In El Paso County, Colorado, you have 2 zip codes next to each other. One is an older market where there's a lot of people that are probably older. They probably own their homes free and clear. They might have HELOCs. They might have, some smaller loans. But you see the property directly to the east, Stetson Hills. It was a major development over the last 15, 20 years. It's all modern grocery stores. There's some shopping centers, modern retail, and all that stuff around there, big box stores. So obviously there's a lot of pressure there because it's going to be a lot more up and down. It's tract homes and stuff like that. It's actually just north of Peterson Air Force Base and Schriever Air Force Base, which are on the east side of Colorado Springs. The west side is Fort Carson, the Air Force Academy, and Cheyenne Mountain, NORAD. So it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of military people there, but there's a lot of pressure there. There's a lot of potential foreclosures. In the older part, you'll see more. In the older zip code to the west, you'll see a lot more probates because there's a lot more people that are passing away, unfortunately. So that's kind of interesting. So it gets into the behavioral patterns. There's foreclosure continuances in a zip code. It has all the concessions, insurance pressure. I mean, it's everything. School boundary changes, builder inventory, active listings. So people are analyzing history, and we're looking at analyzing trajectory. So the difference between what happened and what is likely to happen. So think about being able to actually make a more predictable workflow, deal flow in your whole business, your ROI. You can start being predictive. It's going to help you do that. It takes about 7 to 14 days for it to become predictive, up to a maximum of 30. And then it's fully predictive. You train it. It's like having employees. So it's designed to help operators think probabilistically instead of emotionally. You don't just buy deals, you predict the market behavior. Now we're getting to compounding intelligence, then I'll show you RCIC CORE, and then we'll close out with showing you guys that, one of the reports, and I'll go input it into and I'll input it, and we'll actually get to show you what develops out of it. Compounding intelligence. So most of them restart their analysis process every deal. So this means every deal in compounding, the way RCIC is, every deal compounds foreclosure sweeps, buyer conversations, rehab ejections, failed deal improves. So right now we have, a couple of people on there. If everybody's on right now, if all 4 of you guys besides me are on right now working a deal, you guys aren't doing the same thing. You're not in the same area. You don't see each other. You may not even talk. We have 200 something people in the group. You may never even know somebody who, you guys obviously meet people on Zooms, but all the intelligence compounds. And actually, even though I can't even see what you guys do, that's the beauty of it. I cannot see what you do, but it compounds, and it means that everything kind of blends in with the AI. So if you're doing flips and somebody else is doing single family rentals, where there's overlap, that helps everybody. So this is the only one that I've seen, because I've actually literally all these people that are in these groups throwing out, hey, I built this, I built that. I go look at their Facebooks, and I go look at their websites, and I start like copying and pasting and put in an RCIC, and I do review and reverse engineer. I go look at what's publicly known. I can't see through paywalls, but I can go and I can put it in there to compare it to what's going on. And it's kind of interesting, it's kind of cool that way. And so all your data
Nate,
compounds. Yeah.
quick question. So if this is compounding due to everybody using it,
Yeah.
then why do we have to train it individually?
You still have to train
the individual training is specific to what you're doing.
Yeah.
But the cumulative effect of it with everybody on there makes it more accurate.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you're training.
If you get back to your predictive part about this, okay, that's how it becomes predictive, as far as being able to tell what's going to come up and the different cause and effects that go on out there to drive the market, which is stuff that people only guess about. That's what's going to be so powerful about this, because we've always been wanting to stay ahead of the game and be able to predict what's going to be going on with some sort of accuracy. This allows that to happen. And if you know that ahead of time, okay, if this thing knows that ahead of time, it structures the deal accordingly so that your failure rate is next to zero.
Yeah, that's how you don't get a bad deal. So you're training it like I've talked about, like the buy box, James. So when you put your buy box in, I tell everybody to, and in fact, that's what Reginald is doing right now. He's doing his buy box. You spend more time on there, because that's where the accuracy, that's when it goes through. Like I showed everybody 31 foreclosure, the NADs last night in El Paso, was in Arapahoe County, Colorado. And the reason is, so let's say only 4 of those deals are going to meet my buy box. I may not even see those other 27. I don't have to work stuff that it's not in my wheelhouse or not in my interest. Maybe it's $2 million or $1.5 million homes or whatever. And I don't, for some reason, maybe I could swing $500,000 or something. What depends on what your budget is, what your ability for with your lenders is, partners, things like that, background. You're able to train it so that you are dialing in its quality over quantity. I don't want to, get into where I've got 10,000 things, opportunities coming in. I'd rather get it down to where I've got, 100 or less, or, we can process it through that with overnight deal engine and all the tools we have. It's very accurate. It's extremely accurate that way. And you're training it to respond to you, because you are going to be different than, you guys are going to be different than each other. You're going to be different than Matt. You're going to be different than Neil or Ginger or anybody else. You guys, everything, your business philosophy, what your goals are, everything is you're training it to meet your needs. Where it's compounding, it's just taking the general stuff and it's just kind of building knowledge internally. And I don't even know what it is. I don't know how. I mean, I try to ask it a couple of times, and I've been on some seminars with OpenAI and Anthropic, and try to how this works. It just works. That's why those guys are getting those $1 million sign-in bonuses to join those companies. All those people. So it's really just incredible. It's hard to explain, but it's just like it happens. So, like I said, generally, 7 to 14 days, everybody will start seeing things pop. By 30 to 45 days, people will be like, we have people canceling PropStream. We've had people cancel Deal Machine. Tell me that, hey, I got rid of this and saved me $600 a month. I'd rather have you go spend that $600 a month on your acquiring properties. Some people are spending $2,000-3,000 a month, $5,000 a month. I mean, I saw one guy on some of these groups, his packages were $1,000, $3,000, or $5,000 for just leads. And when you cap out, when you hit 1,000 leads, hit 1,000, you either upgrade or you got to wait till the next month. So this is unlimited. You never, matter of fact, you don't even have to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you need to make a change, maybe you're getting too many, or you need to go to 809, 80906 in Colorado Springs instead of 80917. They might be next to each other, zip codes, but maybe 80906 all of a sudden has a lot of stuff going on for some reason. It could be because there's a lot of military down there, Fort Carson, Fort Peterson Air Force Base, and all that. You could have PCS, you could have, deployments and stuff like that affecting housing, a lot of stuff. So it's interesting. So you get notice of that and you can prepare for that. So if you know all of a sudden there's going to be a whole bunch of changes in those zip codes, you got time to start preparing and getting all your ducks in a row to basically take advantage of that situation without taking advantage of the people. You want to start preparing. So it's built on interconnected intelligence chains. So pattern recognition, buyer intelligence, negotiation intelligence, market awareness, operational speed. So the operator becomes exponentially more dangerous because they stop relying on isolated information. So you get a foreclosure sweep leads to seller distress detection, lien discovery, buyer matching, capital sourcing, exit strategy analysis. It's going to give you multiple exit strategies. So it's pretty cool that way. So you're building reusable prompts. So we're standardizing workflows, creating repeatable decision frameworks, capturing institutional knowledge, reducing emotional decision making. It's pretty cool that way. So I'm going to give you guys this point, and then I'm going to show you the core, and then I'm going to show you I'm going to go to pull up one of those reports. RCIC is not just software, it's an intelligence operational ecosystem designed to help investors make higher quality decisions with more clarity, and more market awareness. So we're going to go to RCIC CORE. Everybody gets from me an activation, a PDF. The first step is you get an OpenAI subscription, $20 a month. Step 2 is this. I give you the PDF. I've actually broken down, you guys will see the additional steps in there. I've actually broken down and created 4 separate PDFs with prompts for market reality assessment, to pull comps, to do ARV and scope of work, and then obviously rehab scope of work, and then we have skip tracing. Those 5 steps plus buy box and markets. Those are 7 of the steps we talked about last night. So in core, you guys have the 2 that are most going to be is this one is RCIC modes. So you guys give them the modes, right? You guys go in here and you can go switch to. The commands are only switch to and return to default. So switch to resident mode. If you're going to be distress intelligence or probates or foreclosures, most everybody's going to be in resident mode unless you're a TC that's joined, you're a lender. You guys can go to any of these modes anytime. We don't restrict you. We want you to go and visit these and study them, because like comms mode will help you with seller text, buyer messaging, follow-up objections, outreach. It's all your communication stuff. It's how to talk to people, how to write correspondence, how to write the emails and the text. It helps you do all that. Operators helps you with SOPs, write KPIs, do team systems, pipelines. Wholesaling, acquisition, max allowable offer concepts, offer strategy, dispo prep. Don't mistake agent mode for agent mode. That out here, you guys will see agents in or deploying agents to do tasks. This is for real estate agents. We obviously can show you like down in the prompt bar. And those guys who haven't seen this yet, I have the orange outline because I have developer mode with Teams and the business account. You guys won't have that, but nothing else is really different other than I have a lot more memory, and Jesse's on I have a couple of people that can work in the workspace, things like that. That's the only difference. But you guys are also going to work in like rehab. If you're doing the rehab, you got scope of work, your budget bands. It helps you with your budget bands. And you can learn all this, exactly what I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to say switch to learning mode. And you guys, like I said, you're going to spend a lot of your time in resident mode, but learning mode, concepts, break down real estate workflows, define terms, build training plans. So whatever you want to do you want to go explain all the concepts? Like how do you determine ARV? What's DSCR, cap rate, NOI, all those things you guys hear, and everybody, this is designed at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you need to go in and learn something, you want to prepare to offer. Maybe you've never done a short-term rental, but you're doing flips, and they think, because there's a good opportunity if you're doing a flip out there, while it's on the market, why not do a short-term rental on it for a month or so? We got the staging in place. People stay there. You can actually, make a little bit of money while you're about your property. Hopefully you sell it fast. Hopefully you can sell it before it's done in rehab. But always have a plan B. So it's kind of cool that way. You can go and say, explain DSCR like I'm new to lending. Teach me how to analyze a flip step by step. Build me a 30-day learning plan for wholesaling. What's the difference between ARV and market value? Walk me through the RCIC operating loop. And it's going to have all the risk flags, and it's going to tell you what time it's going to take from concept explanation and what time to do a training plan. You can do a whole training plan. You can do a business plan, any strategy. Guys, any strategy, anytime, any asset class, anytime. You can ask for a basic, introduction, or you can ask for really in depth. You can actually help it have you, build your training plan, build a business plan. It does everything for you guys. So then the command is returning defaults. I just show you what learning mode is pretty awesome. And you're gonna learn the default now. Real quick, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and go a different way to get back to it where I'm at. Just a faster way for me to do it. So what you guys are always going to do is set up and update your buy box. That's the first thing you're going to do after you upload your link. And you guys are going to see, here's to define your RCIC buy box. And basically it's going to have the buy box card, right? And you guys are going to fill this out. Now I'm going to show you where you're going to go fill this out. So basically I would just copy and paste this. And I'm basically going to go and do that. You guys see the structured example. Leave that right there because it's going to play in handy. Paste that into your box. And now go line by line with your mouse or your finger. I know don't hit the send prompt or the enter. Go ahead and fill this out. Your name or handle, your markets, your asset types. If something doesn't apply, you can delete it or whatever. Take your time. Don't worry about if you screw it up, you can just redo it. It's no problem. Actually, you can put a couple of buy boxes in there. So let's say you fill all this out, right? After you fill it out, before you press send prompt, go ahead and put it, go ahead and do a copy and paste again with everything you filled out, and so you do your copy and paste again, and then you push your send prompt, right? Well, I'm not going to show that there, but I'll show you over here. So I get into projects here, and I set these up, guys. It's pretty cool. If I'm going over here, I got my buy box, right? So now I just take that buy box that I just sent there, and I push the send prompt, I save it. You guys see chats. Now every time you got deals, you can throw it in the chat under it. So you press send, then this saves as permanent. And then you can do it, open the chat, and now you can put in the NADs. You can put in no selection of defaults. You can put it in by the entire list that you can copy and paste. You can put in a PDF with 30 of them on there, or you can put in one specific one. And then, like you guys say, that's a pretty cool system to do it. What I recommend, what I'm trying to show everybody, guys, is that you also go through, we go through, you guys look here, you got, I got a buy box. I'm going to have my markets. I'm going to have my skip tracing. That's my market, skip tracing. We're going to have the ARV valuation, market reality assessment, rehab scope of work. You guys, there's 12 of them, 12 different projects you want to have. You don't have to, like here, honestly, I'm all over the place. Ideally, if you're starting from scratch, put those, put 12, and we can walk you through 12, put those all together so you can just like do workflow. You're not doing this forever. People say it looks a little slow to be doing this all the time. It's only going to be about 30 to 45 days. You're going to be able to do 90% of your work from your prompt bar. So that's where you enter your buy box. And you build your markets and the market guides and all that. And I provide a market guide. Like I said, you can also download one out of the files tab in the Facebook group. Even if it says Cuyahoga County, like Cleveland, go and just enter your prompt bar and say, can you duplicate this book for your county, your zip codes, and it'll generate a market guide. The market guide is going to have all the off ramps for those county jurisdictions. It's going to have all the information you need. It's going to tell you what's going on in that county, like Rule 120 in Colorado. It's going to explain that. It's going to explain all the procedures, what agencies, how to buy foreclosures in that state, in that county, in those zip codes. That's your market guide. You'll put that in markets, which would be the next one in your buy box. So I got my markets. So here I'm going to go and I'm going to put my markets, and I might put like I said, I might right here I'll put a market guide. Let's see. So I can pull it. Let's see if I can pull up the Colorado market guide. And so these are PDFs that are pretty substantial. Okay, there's my market guide. Please use this to analyze potential opportunities. So here goes, that's all my Colorado. Now it's going to walk me through and tell me it's a public trustee foreclosure state, how the process works. There's the off ramp I mentioned, right? And that's obviously taking back the information. Here's Rule 120 in Colorado. It talks about judicial foreclosure, sheriff sales, tax lien, probate, and evictions. It's going to give me every opportunity through my buy box and my markets to give me the county, the foreclosure case number, the parcel ID, owner, situs, sale date, status, age, J, which is the county, authority having jurisdiction. It could be Jefferson County, it could be Arapahoe County, Douglas County, El Paso County, Denver, Boulder. Distress signals will be foreclosure timing, eviction pressure, probate transition, tax delinquencies, overbid excess proceeds, HOA special districts, county specific diligence matters. Jefferson, it gives you a description, older West Metro rentals, foothills, access, fire, septic risk. El Paso military turnover, I just talked about that. Rapid growth, HOA special districts. Douglas, high equity distress, HOA heavy metro district exposure. It gives you all the risk flags for your market. So you guys can see there's a lot of good information on here. Saying any property, docket, foreclosure file, tax lien list, probate case, or market area, and it'll analyze it through this framework. It's pretty cool, guys. So that's what I do for my markets. And so these prompts that I have now, you guys set up your project, enter that prompt, just like I did that market guide, and then you build these. So then basically you start at your buy box and you work your way through your markets all the way down. You're going to train it over 30 to 45 days. After that point, it's going to be a lot simpler. It's going to be all handled. Literally, you'll be training it where it almost, you could set up an ideal engine up. It can do it all, pretty much 90% of your work for you. At that point, you can just, all you got to do is do the human tests, the human verification and stuff. So what I was talking about earlier is I get the reports. I get 15 of them a week. I got the new prompt now and a guide for how to generate these for yourself. You can get as many as you want. So let me show you guys what one of these looks like. You guys see that one on my sidebar where it says Alf Chuck Norris meme? I'm the one who made the Alf and Chuck Norris buddy cop movie parody meme. If you guys made that there. So ChatGPT wants to connect to my Gmail. So why is that? Because like I was saying earlier, set up a free Gmail account, or use my personal account as a Gmail. I can actually send these reports right to my Gmail. So here you guys go. This is one I just got. I'm just gonna have to scroll back up for a second. This is dealing in my town in Evergreen, Colorado. So you can get these. I get one a week. I get one or two of these a week from my town. I get a couple from the county. I get a couple from the state of Colorado. And I think I got about 8 that are nationally, different things nationally. RCIC, you can plug in your market. So if it's not in these 50 markets or the 6,513 zip codes, it doesn't matter. You can plug in yours. I just plugged in those many to start marketing these. So this came today. This is a market related assessment in 3796 Ponderosa Drive, Evergreen, Colorado. So you guys can go look it up. It's the public trustee sale. It's got the case number, the borrower, the property, the original debt, the outstanding principal, and the possible sale date, which is in August. It also warns that the lien may not be senior. So it gets all this information. You guys get the parcel number. You get all the detail, the address, the subdivision, the size of the subdivision and the home. You get the beds and the baths, the lot. You get the year built. You get the Zillow value, the realtor, for example, and what the NED balance is. Then you got a description. So here's what Zillow is saying about it. Now you get into Highland Hills, which is a subdivision. It's not a fast flip cookie cutter market. It's a modern suburb hybrid with strong equity, slower buyer movement, and condition sensitive prices. So it also shows the median sale price around 840 to 845. So you can tell this deal this is a real deal. It's a real foreclosure. It's probably got some pretty good profit in this. So it's got a sale to list around 96.7 to 96.9. Average days on market's around 86 days. You got a plan for that. This is in my town's like that. This is actually as a child, this Highland Hills is a very, let's just say it was a lucrative spot for candy and trick-or-treating. Very much I used to fill one of those big plastic pumpkins. Like we almost filled like 1.5 of those. Buyers are still paying, but they're negotiating. This is not a 3-day days on market. You're going to get all that information. Now you're going to get some of your comps. Here's one on Ponderosa on the same street, same circle as intersection with Ponderosa Drive. Highline Drive is a larger drive. It goes up to Highline Country Club. So it's got another comp. You got Ridge Road as another comp, and you got another Highline Drive. So you got pretty good comps for this area already. So you got your comps going. You can get your comps right now. That's a good thing about it. And all your information, you'll be able to get your comps early. And then it gives you the cleanest and nearby public sale. It talks about what Sage Circle was. You can go get the information off of Sage Circle. You can go get the information off of Highline Drive. You can go get the one off Ridge Road. It's going to give you a value opinion. What your conservative as is. It's going to give you a market value of clean. So you're talking about 825 to 895 if it's clean. You're talking about that was 325. You obviously got your holding costs, all your costs, and your rehab. This thing probably could potentially clear a couple $100,000 profit. If you get a stretch ARV, Evergreen is like this, 925,000 a million. I mean, literally, you could pull in a couple $100,000 on this deal. So if the interior is substantially updated, major systems are clean, mountain insurance and fire risk is manageable. We live in a wildfire zone. No serious title lien issues exist. So it talks about that. Here's your equity picture. Here's your why this fire mountain, and then the risk flags. And so you got the operator verdict, proceed, high equity, medium liquidity, title first. It's going to walk you through all that process. It's going to help you go back to Jefferson County and pull that information from the AHJ. You go right to it. It takes you right to, you can go right to the public trustee. You can also go right to the tax assessor. You can go right to the building department. The building department may have permits. Likely, if this thing has had a permit in the last year, this neighborhood had a hailstorm, guys. It was like, what was it, a couple of years ago? I think it was after you were there, Kevin. So I think we were after Osmond because Dan. Yeah. So this neighborhood had a hailstorm. That means that they had permits because they had to get new roofs. You're going to likely find, because this guy owned that property then, you could likely find his information in the building permit for the roof. You don't have to skip trace. You just got all the information you need. So all your next actions, your deed history, your title search, it's going to walk you all the way through the process. Here you guys go. Here's all the information. Here's now your county and zip. This is an extension of that report. Now you get into Jefferson County, Denver, Arapahoe, Douglas, Boulder, El Paso, which I was saying is there's 80916 and 80918. I was telling you about 80916 earlier, in Colorado Springs. Now you get into these new filings, Jefferson County. There is your off ramp to Jefferson County. I'll pull that up in a minute, but here's some good properties, right? Let's just say right now, let's go to Jefferson County. I'm going to have to do the stop share real quick and reshare just to make sure you guys can see it. You guys do have to do human verification and captions. So you will have to push the accept terms. Now I got Jefferson County foreclosure search. A lot of the counties and stuff, you'll have this kind of search form. If you have a foreclosure number, which you do because it was in that report, you can go in that way. But if you just want to know what's going on in the last, let's just check in and see what's going on so far in Jefferson County, Colorado, through yesterday. There are already 8 records. So here are the 8 records so far in the first 13 days. Pretty good, pretty interesting. So you guys could actually just copy and paste all these with your mouse and go back to your RCIC yourself. That's the on ramp. You guys see that, obviously got my ChatGPT icon. That's your on-ramp. Remember this, your off-ramp was in Jefferson County. But let's pull up, let's see, let me pick one real quick. I'm just kind of looking to see if I kind of recognize. Okay. Let's go pull up this one. So again, are you guys able to see where it says foreclosure details? If you aren't, let me know and I will just have to reshare. But yeah, so you're gonna have your address, you have your subdivision, here's your legal description, your current owner. You want to look at view documents. It's important. What's really important is the NAD. We talked about that earlier. That's pretty much what you want to go to there. You can go through the rest of them. Department of Transportation. The news.doc will basically have the invoice for them having to publicly put in a public notice in the newspaper. So they use the golden transcript because it's like $8. And jurisdictions are cheap. They're the government. They don't want to spend money. So they have to put their invoice in because it has to be charged to the in the deal when there's a buyer. Withdrawal. There's no withdrawal information yet. Here's the sale information. Columbia Private Trust. This is the IRA. That's the holder. This might be a good situation because this looks like it's a person that has an IRA that has a private trust that might be the lender. We'll see in a minute. We'll confirm that. Here's your liens. Second and third. There's no liens. Second and thirds right now. Publication. I just mentioned that. Golden transcript because they're cheap. Get into mailings. Here's all the mailings. Occupant leasee. Here's the guy. Credit Union of Colorado. Information is all in Lakewood. He's got a couple of their addresses, guys. Here's more on the skip tracing. You might live at one of these places. St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. Yeah. Denver, Englewood. So you could probably find this guy. But if you can't, here's another way to do it. Law firm. Here's the law firm. Hey, we've seen that. We've seen Janeway Law Firm a couple of times, Kevin, haven't we? They've been in 4 or 5 of these on our Zooms. They're actually big in Englewood, Colorado. You got the lawyer for the mortgage company, the holder. You got their phone number, their name of their firm, the name of their attorney, their address, their email, their phone, their fax. They're probably using fax. You could try to make a deal with the mortgage company or even their attorney. Here's their deed. There's no deed information yet there. There's no cure information because they have until August to put intent to cure. Here's your basics. This is important. Now I'm going to scroll down. You guys will be very happy. Here's your NAD when it was recorded, all the dates. Right now, you get into the loan information. The type is unknown, original principal, outstanding principal, when the balance was due, 9% fixed, Columbia Private Trust, Pensco Trust Company, Derek Shannon IRA, Gailey Shannon. These are the lenders. So these might be individuals lending to their IRA. They want to get their money back. There's a golden opportunity probably on this one to actually go and make a deal with them. No bankruptcy or temporary restraining orders. Here comes back to the foreclosure details. I'm going to go back and I'm going to save the NAD on that, and then I'm going to do my on-ramp back to GPT, back to my RCIC, and I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead just tonight on the deal. I'm going to go ahead and put in my distress intelligence. I'm using this one. You guys will have your buy box, your deal analysis tools. So you want to run it through your deal analysis tools. I'm going to go ahead and just find mine, and so that way I kind of put you in the right place. Mine looks a little different because I'm like, if I go and start using up all my agents and stuff, it doesn't really help all you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Here I'm adding my NED. Right there. This is the NED. This is a current NED from today's report. Can you begin an analysis? And you guys want to ask it to, you want to start it in your buy box. It's going to go ahead and read that NED. And I'll make a PDF and I'll send it to everybody afterwards if you guys want to go see it. Here's all the information now on a screen. Now you keep in mind, guys, you could go and do that whole list. You could do, I put in like 50 and it went through and pulled up all 50 and it gave me 10 recommendations or 5 and it scores it. Here's all your information on this one. Yeah, this is the one from last night, so it's not the NED we just did, but I'll still show it to you. This one has, this one's from one last night. The recording date was May 1st. Here's your loan amount. There's your unpaid balance amount. This is your address, your legal description. Let me go ahead and let me actually go ahead and see if I can get that one that was, because that was the one I wanted to do. I really like to make these. There you go. This is the right one. Okay, switch to this med. Anyways. Stronger investor characteristics, more interesting capital stack. So you got all this information, your seal number, Jefferson County, Colorado, when it was recorded May 7th, so it's really fresh. Foreclosure demand date, April 27th. Property address, 1615 Yukon Street, Lakewood, Colorado, just north of Colfax. Really close to your family's empire, Kevin.
Yep.
Austin Martinson, original beneficiary, the trust company. So you guys you get all their information. This is a major signal. This is not institutional financing. When I just said that, this appears to be private money, self-directed IRA lending, loan economics, original principal, current unpaid balance, loan originated, when it was recorded. Private lender foreclosure. This changes the psychology of the deal completely. Private lenders are often more negotiable, more emotional, more impatient, more open to discounted payoff structures. This is a gold mine, especially if they are aging investors, capital preservation focused, or tired of managing default litigation. This can create acquisition leverage, potentially large equity position because this loan is from 2019. Appreciation may be significant. Lakewood has appreciated material since late 2019. This is a standard detached property near Sloan's Lake, West Colfax, and the light rail corridors. Maybe substantial equity. Very rough hypothetical bet 351. Market value could possibly be 550 to 750K. So that spread, legal description suggests an older urban lot. So it'll actually tell you what the lot looks like, what the situation is. Older subdivision, potentially subdividable lot history, legacy legal parceling. That's value from Lakewood and West Denver. Needs a zoning review. You can do that in the AHJ as well. The address itself is interesting. Transitional corridor market, retail flip, long-term hold, scrape development, ADU, small multifamily repositioning. This is not screaming trash foreclosure. This looks like something worth underwriting. Your risk factors could be distressed condition, could have code issues, could have tax judgment liens, borrower may litigate.
Yeah, I was thinking that you might want to check with the IRS to make sure they don't have anything going on with that too.
Yeah, priority next steps. So you got all this, and then we do a market reality assessment. It kind of already did that one. So yeah, just the bottom line, that's the kind of information you guys get. And then you guys will flow all the way through it. We recommend 12 stops, 12 projects. It goes, starts at buy box and markets, goes all the way through capital passport, transaction coordination, and closing table. In the middle, you got your deal one else's tools. When you come on, I do a one-on-one with you after you onboard, and that way we make sure you're all set up with all 12 of the projects, and you get the prompt that generally start sending these reports. You can do any place anywhere in the country. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go back. I'm going to kind of start closing out now. So, anybody got any questions, Sharif? I know you're new on here for the first time. Everybody else has kind of been on this before. You got any questions? Anything that's kind of cool that stands out to you? And I can talk to you offline too, after the Zoom. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and go back in a minute to find my Thursdays. So actually, we did just about an hour. That's good. So this is kind of cool. A lot of people will watch this. I am processing the Zoom for YouTube. Can you generate suggested titles, a description, and hashtags? There you guys go, there's my 10 suggested title options. It gives me what it thinks the best one would be. It generates my description for me and the whole process and all my hashtags. Now I'm going to ask it, can you generate and then I'm going to go over and show you guys RCIC systems real quick. Generate a thumbnail for YouTube under 1.9 megabytes. Use the image I added as a reference. And I'm going to add an image. It's going to generate. Then I'm going to go over I'm going to pull up the RCIC system so I can show everybody kind of what's going on with that. I do like the 0 to operator 1 hour, because that's what I try to do on these. Try to get you guys to, if you guys can generate a visual. So give me a second. If you've got any questions, let me know. Anybody? So while I'm on here, James and Kevin, so tomorrow I will have, well, I'm going to show you guys on RCIC systems a couple more, I have to separate scope of work and one other one from each other. That'll take me, it's going to take me about 3 hours tomorrow. And then I'll have Saturday and Sunday. I'll be 100% done with RCI systems, all that stuff on Sunday. And then I'm working on that, the skip tracing one. And then we can start putting our other system together over the weekend, probably. I think I'll actually both start fitting it in by Saturday if we want to get together.
You mean in Core?
If we want to do it, if you want to standalone, just let me know what you think on that.
Wait, what are you referring to? You're going to build it out in the website?
I was going to mock it after maybe we talk and we kind of actually what we want in that system, and then we'll mock it together. I'll go over to Claude and build it, and then I'll run it by you guys because it'll take me a little bit to get some back end, and the time consuming part of doing this is the back end and putting the webhooks and all this stuff in there. All the stuff where different things pass off to each other. You go from skip tracing to capital passport. There's just the offer generation in the middle. It's just trying to make sure that everything works the right way.
Yeah, the capital passport and then the buyers, that'll be important. But I mean, take your time. There's no rush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what am I going to do real quick? No, I mean, like I said, I want to get this going, and then let me go ahead and do my.
Yeah, you guys are going to want to take James's capital sources and add to it.
Yeah, pretty kind of cool. I'm interested to get back to my main. Let me get up to RCIC. So here you guys going off to do this RCI systems dashboard. So there you go. Operator login. Let me stop sharing.
Yeah.
So this is RCI systems, Sharif. So and I think anybody else hasn't seen it. Yeah. There is obviously, like I said, there is a light versus dark toggle up here where you can change the screen from dark screen to light screen. You guys will see, all these are the major tools. So yeah, you can change it. It'll be light screen, and so it's not a lot of ability to fix that right now. But what you guys want to see is if you guys go to light is available for HJ intelligence, deal analyst, and buyers, sellers. They get a pro and they get everything else: capital passport, rehab scope of work, transaction coordination, skip tracing. Then we have the household calculator, the multifamily analyzer, and we have the strategic investment engine or stack intelligence engine, whatever we call it. There's two different. We kind of came up with two different ones. What you guys will see is you go to deal analysis tools, guys. Now it pops up here in deal analysis. Let me go ahead and so you guys can see there's the light.
Here we go. Yeah. Much better.
Yeah, you can go up to here. There's deal analyst, and you got triage and buy box, market reality assessment, ARV discovery, comp processing, and you get a decision memo. And you can describe your lead or paste your property details in here. It has the triage buy box, the chain 13, which is your ARV comps MRA. Pipeline, you got triage, MRA, ARV discovery, comp processing, decision memo. Bring me a lead, give me the address, property type, and what you're trying to do with it. I'll run the chain and give you one decision. Either advance, archive, or kill it.
So real quick, for the
Yeah.
MRAs, does it have every single market in here? How does that work?
No, you gotta, I mean, I'll show you
Oh,
a
you got
map.
to add it in.
Yeah, when you're doing AHJ, you're doing your counties, you can go in there and put like Texas in there and you can put the counties and stuff in there. You got to tell it
Okay.
where you want to go. It's not, it's in there, but you still got to kind of, that's why you need the API so the only thing you need the API for, or anything you're inputting to search or to have it work it. The tools itself, like the calculators and analyzers, work offline. You don't need any API to do
Is
that.
there is it possible at some point for me to rebuild this in Core?
Yeah, I mean, we can work on that. Yeah, I mean, because ideally I'd like to try to get it, eventually could get it in one system. I mean, I thought
Yeah.
about this. The reason it was that GPT was not giving me everybody kept asking me for visual. Do you have a screen? Do you have a screen? Do you have a website? Do you have this? When we had everything working, everything works amazing with the GPTs and core. But, people want to see visuals. So you guys can get into like, here's your wholesaling. You go to your residential assisted living. I got to fix the tag in there. We do have a tag, but you guys, we go deep. So REL, residential assisted living, we have here's the states, and here's what you're doing: single family residential converted, purpose built REL from ground up. It's a commercial medical facility that you're using, multifamily converting. Are you converting an old hotel or something to assisted living? Then you guys get into the care plan, and it gets into the acuity, which is, you get into like Alzheimer's and Medicaid. I mean, dementia, memory care is the highest of the acuity, the most, they got to care for them. You got business owner operator, you got a hired administrator, not yet determined. Then it gets into your staffing, your full-time employees, all your caregivers, your charge nurses, administrators, managers, cooks, and housekeepers. So it has all your care plan, all the people caring for people, cooking for them, providing recreation. Then we get into billing and paramedics. I've never seen anybody do this at any level. And we do it not only in assisted living, but also storage, multifamily, and short-term rentals. Our short-term rental analyzer actually does furnishings too. So it basically helps everybody kind of figure out what you need to furnish it at what level. If you've got a really high-end Airbnb, you might, it helps you. This is dealing with Medicare and Medicaid and VA, TRICARE, and private practice and private pay, insurance companies. And it has all that information. Again, it does have the light display as well. And then you go into billing and paramix, and then it'll come out, it'll score it, it'll give you all the information, and then you can press, full, it's got the full analyze. It's basically
Yes.
build a whole package.
I guess when maybe on Saturday we can, build out the capital passport and then the buyers, but also if we want to test this out, we can use the Atlanta deal and start
Yeah.
comping it and everything.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, that's just it. You could run that through there. That's what I'd be interested in seeing how that one turns out.
Here's what skip traces. Obviously, we got the GPT, and then I got the new one with the GIS, which is standalone. It'll be separate from this, but here's our skip trace. You can put in what owner type, and you can put in the distress signal. And so this does take API. And then you can ask about owner location, outreach strategy. You got to input a little stuff, and this will start the skip tracing process. Property address, the owner name if they know it. It gets all that. It's pretty cool that way. We got the storage analyzer. So yeah, it's pretty cool on what RCIC Systems is able to do. So yeah, we'll do that on Saturday. Then we'll set up a time. We'll go through that, and then we can start planning that, putting that together.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Anybody else got any questions? Sharif, you got any questions? Because we can talk offline too. We can talk later. So yeah, we got a good situation. All right, I'm gonna go and take the recording off.